They're numbers you don't want to see. Violent crime rising in the Twin Cities and greater Minnesota. That's according to new data released by the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. Last year, violent crime went up by nearly 22% in the state. Our Caroline Cummings digs into the data and how state officials say they're responding.
According to the FBI, Minneapolis now ranks among the top 13 U.S. cities for high concentration human trafficking operations. The NIPT is currently looking for 2 suspects after an attempted kidnapping linked to a transnational cell. The director of the FBI says this is the largest takedown he's ever seen. Everyone, and I mean every American, should be paying attention to what was discovered beneath the floorboards of public trust. 5:17 a.m. Minneapolis. While the city lay under a heavy blanket of pre-dawn snow, the air felt thick with a different kind of pressure. Inside an $11.8 million mansion, a secret was about to be ripped into the light. Over 1.3 tons of cocaine and 450 kilograms of fentanyl were discovered beneath the floorboards. But the drugs weren't the story. The story was the $1.2 billion criminal network operating under the total cover of the municipal government. More than 80 children reported missing, some of them never to be found.
Never before has this many state resources been invested into a specific public safety issue and rise, which we're seeing, which is appropriate. As crimes rise nationally, that's what we have to do.
Still a safe place, you just have to be careful, and I would argue no different than most other communities.
We need help from everywhere, because can't one person or one thing solve the problem that we have right now.
This was a system that didn't evade law enforcement, it weaponized it. Stay with me, because what they found behind a false bookshelf in the mayor's private office changed everything we know about how power is used in America. If you believe this goes deeper than we've been told, comment truth right now and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement ensures these stories aren't buried by the very people they expose. The air was freezing. DHS Supervisory Agent Daniel Cross, along with 21 elite federal operators, pressed themselves against the cold stone walls of the estate. No one spoke. Earpieces were tight. They were waiting for the green light. On paper, this house belonged to Mayor Jonathan Reed Whitmore. He was a respected public figure, a man who built his entire reputation on law and public safety. But that image had begun to crack. For 7 months, satellite data had recorded unusual signals surrounding the property, encrypted data bursts that had no clear origin and connections that could not be explained by city business. Financial analysts had flagged a series of shell companies and suspicious wire transfers. At first, it didn't make sense. How could a sitting mayor be connected to the Coat Cartel? But as they say in the Bureau, the numbers don't lie. 5:21 a.m. The front door was forced open. In that instant, the respected leader narrative collapsed. Inside, agents realized this was no routine search. The mansion wasn't just a home, it was a distribution hub. Drugs were everywhere. More than 1.3 tons of cocaine were hidden inside specially modified compartments within the 10,500 square foot home. But it was the fentanyl that truly terrified the team. 450 kilograms of high-purity synthetic opioids, enough to trigger millions of lethal doses, stored in industrial-grade refrigeration units. Then came the cash. Inside the reinforced structural walls, agents discovered $72 million in vacuum-sealed U.S. currency. This wasn't drug money in a duffel bag. This was infrastructure-level capital, categorized and labeled by date and department. But the discovery that completely shifted the investigation was hidden behind a private office. Agent Daniel Cross noticed a bookshelf that didn't match the architectural footprint of the room. It was too shallow. A concealed panel slid back, revealing a sealed, windowless room. Inside, it didn't look like a cartel hideout. It looked like a city command center. On the desk, restricted access evidence storage keys, badges, discarded police uniforms, encrypted surveillance equipment that was monitoring, in real time, multiple city facilities, including the main police precinct and the local courthouse. At the center of the room was a leather-bound ledger. It was the black book of the Minneapolis secret zone. Inside the ledger were meticulously recorded entries spanning more than 3 years. Names, identification codes, transport routes, protection schedules. This was the shadow architecture of the network. It detailed monthly payments to 20 named officials, ranging from $6,000 for selective inspection delays to $1.2 million for record erasures. But as they turned to the final pages, the agents went cold. They found lists of minors, transport records, transfer codes, locations tied directly to state-funded shelters and public buildings. This wasn't just about drugs. This was a trafficking operation where children were being treated as revenue assets. They were being moved through the very channels designed to protect them. Comment expose if you believe every official in that ledger belongs in federal prison. By 9:15 a.m., federal command made a decision. The operation would not stop at the mayor's mansion. What they had uncovered was a multi-state structure. At exactly 10:42 a.m., the order was given, simultaneous entry. No delays. Across Minnesota, Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, and Michigan, tactical units moved in. In Milwaukee, agents raided a warehouse and recovered 2.4 tons of narcotics. In Chicago, a financial office operating under a youth services license was found processing over $18 million in layered transactions. In Des Moines, a secured garage revealed modified transport vehicles with hidden compartments designed for both drugs and human transport. By 1:30 p.m., the numbers were staggering. 48 individuals detained, 11 high-level coordinators identified, over $63 million in assets frozen instantly. But the most critical outcome? 34 minors were located and secured. Many had been missing for over a year. Their files quietly changed in the city system from endangered to runaway to stop the search. Financial analysts uncovered the engine behind the mayor's empire. The network operated through 18 shell companies, all registered under false identities. On paper, they were legitimate: transportation services, youth outreach programs, and temporary housing initiatives. They had received more than $780 million in combined public funding, federal grants and state contracts approved without a single red flag. In reality, less than 20% of that money ever reached the community. The rest was converted into cash, broken into transfers under the $10,000 reporting limit, and hidden inside the very walls agents had just breached. This wasn't a failed charity. It was a carefully engineered financial funnel designed to absorb public trust and convert it into untraceable cash. By late afternoon, the mayor was formally charged under federal indictment. Conspiracy, human trafficking, money laundering, obstruction of justice. But as the forensic teams continued to pull data from the mayor's encrypted server, a final, chilling alert appeared on the screen. A single entry, time-stamped 4:16 a.m. Just minutes before the raid began. Phase 2 routes active. This network was never designed to just survive. It was designed to continue beyond exposure. Even as the mayor sat in a federal cell, $14.6 million was redistributed across 19 new accounts in just 6 hours. The shadow architecture had backup operators, mid-level coordinators embedded in regulatory boards and financial institutions that the public doesn't even know exist. The operation in Minneapolis ended that night, but the investigation into the shadow architecture is only beginning. For years, power provided the protection. That morning, power provided the evidence. But the lesson of the Minneapolis secret zone is a hard one. Some of the most dangerous threats don't wear masks. They wear suits. They hold titles. They ask to be trusted. They don't break the law. They occupy it. What was dismantled that day was significant, but what remains hidden could be even larger. Stay alert. Stay skeptical. If you want to see the names in the Mayor's Black Book revealed in our next report, hit the like button and subscribe now. This is a war for the soul of our communities, and the truth is our only weapon. Comment protect if you stand with the agents who brought these children home. Would you like me to find more sources about these Phase 2 contingency protocols or create flashcards for the key figures involved in these raids?